Good evening, everyone. I would invite Gurvinder sir to start the session. Gurvinder sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You can start the session.
Okay. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay. So hello everyone. Yesterday we were discussing that problem in which infinity minus infinity case got converted into 0 by 0 case, right? I hope you all remember. Remember everyone?
Yes, sir.
You remember? Okay. So just a minute. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible now. Just a minute. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible now. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
this was the question. It was 1 by 8, 8 plus h raised to 1 by 3 minus 1 by 2h. And obviously it was 1 by 0 minus 1 by 0 case. So obviously infinity minus infinity case. But in this infinity minus infinity case, one thing special was happening, that instead of converting to infinity divided by infinity, it was converting to 0 by 0. And then like I gave you an obvious explanation of why it is possible, right? Because infinity divided by infinity and 0 divided by 0 are actually the same cases, wherein the functions have been inverted. That is what is happening. Like, for example, you have x divided by y. X and y both are tending to infinity. So you can also write it as 1 by y divided by 1 by x. X and y are any functions. So now 1 by y and 1 by x both are tending to 0. So that is how this comes out, right? So this is what we were discussing. So continuing with yesterday, if you can tell me how we could approach this question. Now it is 0 by 0 form, fine.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, Navneet, right?
Yes, sir.
Hi. Yeah, there are many people which I know by name, by their sound only. Your sound is so special to my ears. I was longing to hear it since a long time. So finally you are back. Okay, great. So Navneet, we have 0 by 0 case over here. How do we solve it? If anyone can tell me? No one. How do we solve 0 by 0 case? Fine, you can differentiate it. Not an issue. Okay, fine. We can go for differentiation. Sounds good. So the first case, I'll be just writing it down here. So we have 2 minus 8 plus h to the power of 1 by 3 whole divided by 2h into 8 plus h whole to the power of 1 by 3. So only if you all know how to differentiate it. That is the only issue I feel you will be having over here. Any one of you know how to differentiate this thing? Okay, so no worries. So it is minus 1 by 3, 8 plus h to the power of 1 by 3 minus 1. So that is minus 2 by 3. And then 8, then we need to differentiate 8 plus h, and that is 1 only. So no need to go ahead. Then divided by 2 into 8 plus h to the power of 1 by 3. Okay, plus h into 1 by 3 into uh, 8 plus h to the power of 2 by minus 2 by 3. Fine, that is how we do this. So can you tell me which form is this? So this is, see, you told me to differentiate. I have differentiated it. Since you all did not know how to differentiate, so I have helped you now. Currently, we have not studied differentiation, so I am doing it on your behalf. When we will study differentiation again, so at that time, you will be able to do it. So for the time being, I will be doing that for you. So can you tell me which form is this currently? Can anyone tell me which form have we reached? So limit h is tending to 0, right? So just substitute your values h as 0. Which form is this? Can anyone tell me? Okay. No one is answering. Gayatri, Shravani, can you just input the value of h as 0 and check which form is this? Is this an indeterminate form?
No, sir.
Sir,
Okay, this is not an indeterminate form. Okay. So that means I can just directly calculate my value, right? Sounds good?
yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay, so I'll just put my value h as 0. So when I do that, it will be the numerator would be minus 1 by 3 into 8 to the power of minus 2 by 3 divided by, okay, fine. In the denominator, I have 2. Then I have 8 to the power of 1 by 3 plus this thing will be 0 because I have h over here. So this thing, right? So let me see. So it is minus 1 by 6, 8 to the power of minus 2 by 3 divided by 8 to the power of 1 by 3. So this thing will be minus 1 by 6 into 8. So minus 1 by 40 it is minus. Everyone, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I hope it is clear and I hope the calculation is correct. I wanted you to do the calculation actually, but you did not, so I did it anyways. Fine. Is this correct, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Calculation is correct, right? Okay. Can you think of one more way to approach this question? How could we do it? Anyone? How can we approach this question? Do you have any other method that you can think of? So this was obviously method number 1. It worked perfectly fine. The only issue you will face currently is that you don't know how to differentiate. So no worries, you will be learning that a bit later. For the time being, any other method you can think of? Okay, so if you are not able to think, no issues.
Numerator.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat?
Greatest 10%.
Uh, Sorry, like greatest what? Can you repeat? Okay, so like it is
Greatest power, sir.
greatest power term. Okay. Uh, no, I don't think so that will work over here because it is 0 by 0 form, not infinity by infinity form. I had asked you to apply that trick only when it was infinity by infinity form, if you remember correctly. So just make sure where you are applying your tricks. Otherwise, your answer may go wrong. If you take your highest power out, your answer will be like absolutely wrong over here. So that won't work. But one thing that I can think of, uh, like just a minute. So 2h into. So I was thinking of an infinite expansion. Do you all know what is the infinite expansion of 1 plus x to the power of n? What is it? Anyone can tell me? Infinite expansion. 1 plus x whole to the power of n. It was 1 plus nx plus n minus 1 by 2 x square and higher order terms. Higher order terms. Okay, something like this. So I have 8 plus h whole to the power of 1 by 3, right? I have 8 plus h whole to the power of 1 by 3. Is it possible for me to convert this form into this form? Uh, I can just try, right? I can take 8 common. So I have 8 to the power of 1 by 3 into 1 plus h by 8 whole to the power of 1 by 3. Is this correct, everyone? What is 8 to the power of 1 by 3?
2, sir.
8 to the, okay, 2, right? So it is 2 into 1 plus h by 8 whole to the power of 1 by 3, right? So now is this form and this form the same? What if I replace my x, my value of x with h by 8? Will this thing and this thing be the same, right? Just a 2 multiplied. So I instead of x, I can put h by 8 and I'll get the same series again. So great. So I have 2 into 1 plus h by 8 whole to the power of 1 by 3. So now instead of x, I'll be putting the value h by 8. And instead of n, what will I be putting in place of n? What is my value of n over here? 1 by 3.
1 by 3.
1 by 3.
So 2 into 1 plus n. So n is 1 by 3 into x. X is h by 8 plus n minus 1. Actually, I actually don't need this term, but still I'll be calculating it. N into n minus 1 by 2 into h square by 64 and higher order terms. I actually did not need this value. I'll tell you why. So now just opening this up. So I have 2 plus h by 3 into 4, 12 plus minus 1 by 9 minus 1 by 18 into 64. Just a minute. Is this correct? No, it is minus 2, right? Actually, like this term was not required at all. We've just taken it. Okay. So over here I have minus 2 by 3. 2 got cancelled. So it will be 2 by 9, not 18. And higher order terms. Fine. So you can just replace this thing with this thing, like this whole 8 plus h whole to the power of 1 by 3. This is what we have. So just keep in place of this, you can like just write this thing. So I have 2 minus 2 plus h by 12, and I'll just keep all of these as higher order terms divided by 2h into 8 plus h whole to the power of 1 by 3. Oh, okay. So now just tell me one thing. I'll just open the brackets for you. So in the numerator, I have minus h by 12 and plus some higher order terms that I don't actually care, divided by 2h into 8 plus h whole to the power of 1 by 3. So now, do I need to open my bracket in the denominator? Do I need to open it? 8 plus h to the power of 1 by 3 that I have in the denominator. Do I need to open it? Can anyone tell me? Vignesh, Gayatri, Navneet. So, like, I actually.
It was 16. It was 16.
Nahi, I'm asking you, do I need to open this thing? Like,
Yes, sir.
do I need to?
Sir.
Okay, so
Okay.
okay, so you like in place of in the denominator, I have 8 plus h to the power of 1 by 3. So do I need to replace this whole thing over here? Actually, I'll just
Yes,
tell
sir.
you why I don't need it. I will tell you why I don't need it. See, this I have a h in the denominator and this h will cancel out in the numerator. So I have minus 1 by 12 plus some higher order terms divided by h. Okay. Okay. Divided by 2 into 8 plus h to the power of 1 by 3. So now, if you substitute your value h as 0, if you substitute your value h as 0, so what will happen? Is this an indeterminate form? Anyone? Is this an indeterminate form now?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, no, it is not an indeterminate form. Which indeterminate form is this? In the numerator, you have the value minus 1 by 12. In the denominator, you have this value 2 into 8 raised to 1 by 3. So in both of these cases, you have a finite value. So it is not an indeterminate form. So it is minus 1 by 12. First of all,
Minus 1 by.
limit h tends to 0, higher order terms divided by h. What will be the value of this limit? Can anyone tell me? Higher order terms divided by h. What will be the value of this thing?
Undefined.
Not defined.
Undefined.
What is higher order terms? When I'm writing HOT, higher order terms, what does it mean? What am I trying to say? Higher order terms basically means like square, cubes, all of that. So like I may have anything in cube. So C1 x square plus, sorry, h square plus, like, okay, so first of all, I guess most of you don't understand what I'm trying to say by higher order terms, and you did not bother to ask. So fine, I'll just give it a try to you. So see, like when I'm making the expansion of this thing, when I'm expanding 8 plus h to the power of 1 by 3, so the first two terms I got as 2 plus h by 12. Okay. After that, I will get some constant. I'll just assume that constant as C1 x square and C2 x cube, C3 x raised to 4, and so on. Okay. I'll get such terms like this. Okay. So it is not x, it is h actually. Change in variable. Okay. So do you all agree with this? When I expand 8 plus h whole to the power of 1 by 3, I will get something like this. Do you all agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you all agree. So I'm just calling all of these terms as higher order terms. Okay, so I have just written my final expansion as 2 plus h by 12 plus some higher order terms. I have just written it like this. So now my higher order terms basically means like I have my square term, my cube term, my fourth power term, and so on up to infinite, because this is an infinite expansion. So now when I take my higher order terms and I divide it by h, because I need to do it. So it will be something like C1 h square plus C2 h
C1.
cube plus h raised to 4 and so on, whole divided by h. And now my limit h is tending to 0. Now can you tell me what will be the value of this limit? Anyone? Navneet?
0, sir.
It will be 0.
0 by
Why
0.
Zero,
will it
sir.
be 0? Why is it
0 by
0?
0.
0 by 0, yes, like it is 0 by 0, obviously. But the final value is 0. Why is it 0? Why is my final value coming out to be 0? Final value of the limit. Vignesh?
Why? Because it's equals to 0. इसकी जगह पे 0 लेना
So,
सर.
like,
H
how should that be an issue? हाँ, Gayatri.
H will divide na, sir.
Bhavna.
All the
Yes,
terms.
correct. Yes, correct. It will come out something like C1h plus C2h square plus C3h cube and so on. Now, and h
Yes,
is tending to 0. So anything multiplied by 0, my final answer should come out as 0 only. That
yes,
is
sir.
why when I have my higher order terms, so I actually like don't care about whatever is coming along with it. Right? So that is why I have written my higher order terms like this only. I just wrote it the way they were. So HOT, higher order terms divided by h, its limit will actually be 0, because there is a lot of h square, h cube, all of that in that. So it will not contribute to the limit. Okay, so now so obviously this is not an indeterminate form anymore. This is a determinate form. So if this is a determinate form, I can just calculate its value. Substitute h as 0. So minus 1 by 12 plus 0 divided by 2 into 8 to the power of 1 by 3. What is 8 to the power of 1 by 3?
2.
2, sir.
2. So minus 1 by 12
48.
into 4. Minus 1 by 48. So minus 1 by 48. What did you get? Okay, so we got the same answer. So luckily, it is correct, right?
Yes, sir.
So we were doing the correct method. I hope like if any one of you had done the homework, so maybe they would have got the answer. I'm not very sure who have done it, because I did not receive actually from anyone. I guess Ashrita had done it, right? Like
Sir.
I just saw it as a message. You did it? You
Yes,
got the
sir.
same answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
By
So did you apply? You applied differentiation? Did you do differentiation or did you do the second method? Okay. Actually, I am not able to hear you. I'm just asking, did you apply this first method or did you do it second method? Actually, both of them were easy only. Just the second method, I want you to be familiar with infinite expansion. because many a times it will be used. So you should be able to do through this method also. Like yesterday we had done this like really good question, na? This one. Yes, this one. In which we got sin x plus x into sin x minus x. So there was no other method to solve it. If you went for its differentiation, it would be really long. So you should know infinite expansions. Okay. Fine. So just one or two more questions. Actually, infinite minus infinite case is not very special. So, okay, we'll be continuing our discussion. Today we'll be starting with indeterminate forms of 0 raised to 0 and infinity raised to 0. I hope forms. How many were there? How many indeterminate forms did we have?
7.
7. Okay. And out of that, how many have we completed till now?
3, sir.
We have completed 3. Which of these?
0 by 0, infinity by
0 by 0, infinity by infinity,
infinity minus infinity.
Infinity minus
infinity minus infinity. Okay. So we are currently discussing about 0 raised to 0 and infinity raised to 0. They are one of the simplest. Okay. Whenever you come across 0 raised to 0 or infinity raised to 0, there is only one method to solve them. And what is the method? I'll just show you. So for example, I take my function f of x raised to g of x. Okay. Something like this. I have f of x raised to g of x. And I just write it as any value. What will happen if I take fine. So if you can just tell me, I have g of x into ln of f of x. Okay. So if you all know what is the property of log, ln is log only. So if you all know that if I have log of x raised to c, so I can take out this c outside. So it is log of x. Do you all remember this property
Yes, sir.
of log? Okay, you
Yes,
remember.
sir.
So using this property, can you go back one step? Like from c into log x, can you go back and write it as x raised to c in this case? So obviously we can do it. So it is ln of f of x raised to g of x. Fine. Is this correct?
Sir, I couldn't
Yes, sir.
understand.
It is correct, right?
Sir, can you
Instead of x, can I explain? Okay. So like I have this property where log of x raised to c can be written as c into log of x. Okay. So if you have a power in your logarithm, it can come outside and get multiplied. So here I have g of x into ln of f of x. Okay. So I'm just going back one step. Like I have a c over here. So this c can go back. Okay. This c I have over here, this c can go back and raise itself to the power of x. So the same thing will happen over here. I have this g of x multiplied. So this g of x will go and raise itself to the power of f of x. So now I have ln of f of x raised to g of x. Is this correct? Okay. And just one more property of logarithm that we will be using over here. What is e to the power of ln of x? What is it? E to the power of ln x. You don't know. Okay, so I'll just convert the question. 5 raised to log 5 of x.
X
What is the value?
into
How much is it? Tell. Tell. No worries if you get it wrong.
X.
X, correct.
X.
It is x, right? If you have the same power, that is why, like, that is what the logarithm stands for. That is what is meant by the logarithm, right? So, okay, correct, x. So now if you are able to relate to something, obviously, so I have e raised to, what if you take e ln of f of x, what will it be? Can I write it as f of x raised to g of x? Obviously, just treat f of x raised to g of x as one single entity, right? Just treat f of x raised to g of x as one single entity. So you'll get e raised to ln c. So this will be what you have, f of x raised to g of x. Great. Does that work? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So I currently have just one question. So we have limit x to the power of infinity. Sorry, x tends to infinity, x raised to 1 by x. Which form is this? What is the form? Just put in the value.
Infinity raised to 0.
How much? Infinity raised to 0.
Sir. One.
Correct. Infinity raised to 0. Right? So how will we solve it?
Now
How should we
Yogesh
solve
sir
it?
phone किया
Sorry? Any doubt, Navneet?
No sir.
Okay. So I have, so in this case, I have f of x raised to g of x, and my g of x is 1 by x. Right? This is what I have. Just a minute. Okay. This is what I have. So now I have f of x raised to g of x. It can be written as e raised to ln, sorry, e raised to g of x into ln of f of x. Right. So now I can just solve for this limit. So I have e raised to g of x. G of x is 1 by x into ln of f of x. And limit x is tending to infinity. So basically I need to solve for e raised to limit x tends to infinity ln x by x. Can you do it? Which form is this? Ln x by x. What is ln of infinity?
X.
What is the natural log of infinity? Vignesh, Gayatri, Divya, Sravani. You don't know what is the natural log of infinity?
So infinity only.
Yes,
Infinity.
yes, correct. Like, what does natural log mean? So, like, if you don't know, just in case, right? If I'm assuming this value to be some value x, so basically I'm trying to ask you, what should I raise my e so that I get infinity? Tell me. Divya, Gayatri, what should I raise my value of e so that I get infinity? What should
So,
I raise e to?
infinity.
Obviously, I will raise it to infinity only. Then only I can get infinity, right? So, which form is this? ln x
Yes.
by x. Which form is this? ln x by x. Form. Infinity
Sorry,
by infinity, right?
infinity
Yes,
form.
correct. Infinity by infinity. So I have limit x tends to infinity ln x by x. Tell me, how should we solve this one? I mean, it's really simple. If you can just guess how to do it. What?
Highest power.
Highest power.
Highest power. What is the highest power in ln x? What is the highest power in ln x? How would you know? Like,
X by X, sir.
Differentiation.
yes, correct. Differentiation. What is correct?
Differentiation.
Yes, yes, correct. Go for differentiation. So can you tell me what is the derivative of ln x? What is it?
1 by X.
Correct, 1 by x. I mean, taking the highest powers won't work actually, because like you don't have an expansion for ln x. If you remember clearly, there is an expansion for ln of 1 plus x or ln of 1 minus x. There is no expansion for 1, there is no expansion for ln x. So taking highest powers, first of all, it will be really confusing for you to go for the expansion. I mean, you will get really confused with that. And along with that, uh, I mean, you won't be able to do it. And what is the derivative of x?
1, sir.
Answer.
1. Okay. So which
1.
form does this become now? If I mean, if x is tending to infinity, where is my 1 by x tending to?
0.
Okay, 0. So which form is this? Which form is this thing? 1 by x whole divided by 1.
0.
Not by X, sir.
0 divided by
0.
1, right? 0 divided by 1. So 0 divided by 1 is 0 divided by 1, and is it an indeterminate form?
No, sir.
No, it is not an indeterminate form. Fine. Great. So obviously its value is 0. So is this 0 my final answer? It
Yes,
has
sir.
to be raised to
No,
e
sir.
also, right? E raised to 0. What is
Raised to
e raised to 0?
1.
1.
1. Okay. Correct. Anything raised to 0, right? E is a like real number. So you don't need to worry about it. Great. We have one more special case. Okay. So like we have 1 raised to infinity. See, I'll just tell you one small thing. If you ever encounter a case wherein you have 0 raised to 0, infinity raised to 0, or 1 raised to infinity, these three are the easiest cases of them all. Okay. Like literally, you don't need to do anything. Why? Because means there is a standard way of solving these limits. You will always face an issue where you encounter 0 by 0 or infinity by infinity or 0 multiplied by infinity. These are the cases that will be the most difficult of them all. See, because in 0 raised to 0, infinity raised to 0, or 1 raised to infinity, in these three cases, you have a special way of solving, and because of this formula of this infinite expansion. So because of this, there is only one method of solving. Okay. So now we have 1 raised to infinity. So I have f of x raised to g of x. Okay. I have f of x raised to g of x. So where like I'll just assume limit x is tending to some value alpha. So limit of x tends to alpha, f of x is 1, and limit of x tends to alpha, g of x is infinity. So you will get 1 raised to infinity. There is only one method to solve this. How? E raised to f of x minus 1 into g of x. No other way. And how it can be derived? It can be derived using the infinite expansion of e raised to x. Do you all remember what is the infinite expansion of e raised to x? I guess no one remembers it. Anyone? Infinite expansion of e raised to x. Okay, so it
Infinite.
is 1 plus what? Seriously, bro. Right? I know, like most of you don't remember. I have like all of you don't remember. So this is the infinite expansion. You can go for its derivation if you wish to, but it's really long and it's not a part of your syllabus also. So you can just remember this thing if you wish to. e raised to f of x minus 1 into g of x. This is what you have to remember. Sorry, not if you wish to. You have to remember. E raised to f of x minus 1 into g of x. This is how you will be solving whenever you get 1 raised to infinity. So let us just start with an easy case first. So you have limit x tends to 0, 1 plus x raised to 1 by x. So obviously it is 1 raised to infinity case because 1 by x, if x is tending to 0, 1 by x will go to infinity. So now we have our f of x as 1 plus x. I have my g of x as 1 by x, right? So f of x raised to g of x can be converted to e raised to f of x minus 1 into g of x, right? So how do I write it? So e raised to f of x minus 1. What is f of x minus 1? What is it?
X.
F of x
Sir.
minus 1. X, okay. X into 1 by x. And limit x is tending to 0. What is x into 1 by x?
1, sir.
1, sir.
Okay, great.
One.
Because x and x got cancelled. So really easy. E raised to
Zero.
1. 0. No, it is not e raised to 0.
Sir,
It is
e
e
raised
raised to
to
1.
1.
It
Yes,
is 0.
yes, it is e raised to 1. Yes, it is e, right?
E.
Right? It is e.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, great. Let us see if we can do a few more. I mean, they are really simple. Because, like, I'll just tell you one small thing also. If you ever come across a question in JE of limits, so there are very high chances that it will be of either 0 by 0 or infinity by infinity or 0 multiplied by infinity. Because these three are the tough ones. Rather, remaining all are like really simple ones because you know how to solve them. There is no standard procedure of solving 0 by 0 or infinity by infinity. Sometimes you may need to go for expansion. Sometimes you may need to apply L'Hopital's rule. Sometimes you may go for L'Hopital rules 3 or 4 times to get the answer. It is possible. Okay, fine. Let us look at this one. So you have f of x, it is 1 plus x, and you have g of x, it is cosec x. Cosec x is basically 1 by sine x, if you all know, right? So first of all, is this 1 raised to infinity?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, because like if your x is tending to 0, your sine x is tending to 0. So 1 by 0, obviously it will go to infinity. So I have limit, okay, I have f of x raised to g of x, right? I have f of x raised to g of x. So I can write it as e raised to f of x minus 1 into g of x. Okay, so e raised to limit x tends to 0, f of x minus 1. What is f of x minus 1?
X, sir.
Okay,
X.
great. Into 1 by sine x. X by sine x. What is the value? Anyone? Okay. I guess you are not able to.
Infinity.
Infinity.
1,
X by sine x.
sir.
What is it?
1.
1, right? Yes, it is 1. So my final answer is E. Got it, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If sine x by x is 1, so obviously x by sine x will also be 1. Is there anything to get confused about? Right? If sine x by x is 1, so obviously x by sine x is the reciprocal. So 1 by 1, it will go this way only. Let us see. This one is a bit tricky. So x tends to 0, cos x raised to cot x. We have cos x raised to cot x. Is this infinity by infinity form? Infinity 1 raised to infinity form?
Yes, sir.
Is
Yes,
it
sir.
sure? Okay, okay, great. It is, it is. So 1 raised to infinity, so again I'll be doing the same thing. E raised to f of x minus 1 into g of x. Right? Do I get this? Everyone agrees?
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay, so I have cos x minus 1 into cot x. Cot x can be written as cos x by sin x. What can I do of this cos x minus 1? Can you guess, anyone? Cos x minus 1, what can I do? I mean, we have been doing that quite many times.
Sir, it will become 0.
Like you're telling the final answer? I mean,
No,
the whole limit you are telling? 0. Cos x minus 1 will be 0. Yeah, you are correct. Like cos x minus 1 will be
0,
0.
0.
But in the denominator, you have sin x also. No? That is also 0.
0 by
yes,
0, sir. Final
कर दी
answer.
ना गलती. भावना, right? भावना और गायत्री.
Bhavna, sir.
हाँ. I know you made just like you ignored this sin x. So I have got this thing over here, and my limit x is tending to 0. So if I just substitute bluntly the value of x as 0, I will get 0 into 1 by 0. So it is 0 by 0 form. It is not 0 because there is a sin x in the denominator also. I will need to evaluate that thing also. So can you think what can I do of cos x minus 1? What can I do? Like we have been doing it couple of times. We have done it many times from now. So cos x minus 1. 1, it can be written as minus of 1 minus cos x. Right? What is the formula for 1 minus cos x? What is it? It's minus 2 sine square x by 2 into cos x by sin x. Right? Now tell me, what trick should I apply over here? I can get rid of my sine directly. Right? So I have minus 2 into x by 2 whole square cos x by sin x. Yes,
So
Vignesh. Ask.
I don't. How do you get minus
Hmm.
2? 1 minus cos x is 2 sine square x by 2. Oh, okay,
No,
okay,
so
sir.
there is a minus in the front, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so minus 2x square. So tell me, I can just directly tell you the value of this limit without solving anything actually. Can you tell me, anyone, what is the value of this limit? Limit x is tending to 0.
0 by 0.
0 by 0.
0.
Arey bhai. uh, okay. Like I directly know that the value of this limit will be 0. And I can tell you how. See, minus 2x square by 4 into cos x by sin x, right? So this x can be written as, so I have this x square. So I will just write it as x into x. Okay. I have x by sin x. What is x by sin x?
1.
1.
1. So minus 2x by 4 into cos x into 1. So x by 4, what is it? 0, right? So minus 2 into 0
0.
into
0.
1 into 1. So this thing will be 0,
It's
right?
0.
Okay. So what is my final answer? What is the final value of this limit?
0.
0.
0.
Arey. 0.
0 by 0, sir.
1, sir.
0 by
1.
0. Array, it is
1.
e raised to 0, right? You forgot that e over here.
0.
You forgot the
1,
e.
sir.
Yeah, it is 1. It is 1. Because it is e raised to 0, right? You forgot the e over there. Fine. Okay, let us just solve the unsolved questions in the book. I hope all of you have this book, right? Really good book. Ghanshyam Tewani, JEE Main Mathematics. So, like, all okay, so let us start with the unsolved now.
So which one?
This Singhage, right? Ghanshyam Tewani.
Okay, sir.
You have it?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, good. So I have limit x tends to pi by 2 minus. Okay. Then I have cos x raised to cos x. I mean, which form is this, anyone? Which form do we have over here? What is cos of pi by 2?
1 raised to 1.
Cos of pi by 2 is 1. Shabash.
Zero.
Trigonometry, bete. हाँ, it
90.
is 0. Yes, cos of 90. What is cos of 90? It is
Zero.
0, right? So it is
Zero,
it
sir.
is 0 raised to 0. Yes, it is 0 raised to 0. How do we solve 0 raised to 0? What do we do? If I have f of x raised to g of x, how do I solve 0 raised to 0? अरे यार अभी तो पढ़ाया था. Forgot. 0 raised to 0.
E raised
If I
to
have
g
f
of
of x
x.
raised to g of x, e raised to g of x into ln of f of x. So let us just do the same thing over here. So I have e raised to g of x into ln of f of x. I know this one is a little bit tough. Any one of you know how to solve it? We have cos x into ln of cos x. How should we do it? Okay, fine. You can leave it for the time being because we have not worked with 0 into infinity form. So actually it was like it requires 0 into infinity. If you see clearly at it, what is the ln of x when x is tending to 0? Do you know this? What is the logarithm of 0? Like if the number is really close to 0, what is it? Can you
One.
guess? 1.
X.
X, like I'm asking the value. Can you think like, okay, for the time being, I will just change the question. Like, okay, I want all of you to think about this thing. I want to calculate a number. Okay, I'll just assume this value to be y. So it can also be written as e raised to y is equal to x, and x is tending to 0. So basically, what should I raise my y? What should I raise to my power of e so that I get 0? Like, how is that possible? Tell me. What can I raise to my power of e so that I get 0, a number really close to 0? What can be that number y? Can you think? I want to raise, like, I want to multiply e with itself. How many times? So that I get a number that is really close to x, close to 0. How is that thing possible? Think. What happens if we decrease our value of y? Okay, I have this value y over here. So if my y is 0, what is my value of e raised to y?
1, sir.
1.
One.
Okay. 1. What happens if I keep on decreasing the value? What will happen?
Sir, it will go
1 by e.
-1.
Yes. -1. Is it ever possible for you to raise a positive
low.
number and get? No, I guess that is not possible. That is not possible, right? You can't raise a positive number to some power and get a negative number as a result. That is not possible. Obviously, the number will remain positive only. So can you think like where will this thing tend to? What should I raise?
By E.
No, I'm asking
0
you
by
what should,
0.
I
like my question is fairly simple. In easy words, I'm asking you, what number should I raise to my e? Okay, so that I get a result that is really close to 0. What should it be?
1 by infinity.
1 by infinity is 0 only.
0
Can you think?
by infinity.
it's infinity.
Minus infinity. Correct. Correct. Absolutely correct. Just think of this thing. Like what is e to the power of minus infinity? What is it?
1
E to
by
the power of 1 by infinity.
infinity.
Where will
1 by
this go? 1 by e raised to infinity. So it will go
yes,
to 1 by infinity. So what is 1 by infinity? What is it?
0.
0, correct. So
One.
basically your y, your value of y will tend to infinity, right? Sorry, your y will tend to minus infinity.
Okay.
Correct, everyone? Your y will tend to minus infinity. Everyone agree with this? Okay. So let us just look at what form are we getting over here. So we are getting cos x. What is the value of cos x when x is close to pi by 2? What is it?
0.
0.
Zero.
Okay, correct. 0. And what about ln of cos x? ln of 0. Where will it go?
0.
Yeah, Abhi, we are just discussing this only now. ln of 0. Where will ln of 0 go to?
Minus
Infinity.
infinity.
So
Minus infinity.
Minus
Yes,
infinity.
correct. Minus infinity. So which form is this?
0 into infinity form.
Yes, correct. 0 into infinity. So currently we have not discussed this form, right? We have not discussed 0 into infinity. Or have we done it? We have not discussed this, right? 0 into infinity is
So
not discussed. So just leave this question as homework. Fine.
yes, sir.
So when we'll discuss 0 into infinity, you will be getting. So I just wanted you all to think this way, that what is ln? Because you'll get such problems ahead also. So first of all, calculating the form is really important. Many a times it will happen. See, it was 0 raised to 0. Now we have converted it into infinity raised to 0, right? 0 into infinity. So instead of solving for 0 raised to 0, now you need to calculate, now you need to evaluate 0 into infinity also. So the question is actually a lot longer than we were thinking. So okay. So which form is this? Anyone? So okay, I'll so currently we have f of x raised to g of x. Okay, something like this. F of x is x plus 2 divided by x plus 1, and g of x is x plus 3, and your x is tending to infinity. So can you tell me where will your g of x tend to?
Sir, infinity.
Correct. Infinity plus 3 is also infinity only. Correct.
Infinity.
What about this thing? Where will your x plus 2 divided by x plus 1 go to?
Infinity by infinity.
Infinity by
Correct.
infinity.
Infinity by infinity. Absolutely correct. But what will be the value of this limit? I mean, the value of this thing, limit,
Infinity.
infinity. Sure.
Sir, is it 1?
1, correct. Why is it 1? See, obviously you are correct in the first stage. You have got infinity divided by infinity. So how do we solve infinity by infinity? There are many methods, obviously. So like I have got something like this, x plus 2 divided by x plus 1. I've got something like this, right? So I have got x tends to infinity. How should I solve this thing? How should I, how did you do it? The one who gave the answer 1.
Sir, infinity
Okay.
by infinity. Sir.
No, it is infinity by infinity only. It is correct. The form is infinity by infinity. I am asking you the value of the limit. This thing will have a value, right? I'm asking that. I am asking you to evaluate the value of the limit.
0.
0. Can you think like infinity divided by infinity? We have done so many
Sir,
times.
highest power.
Ah,
Greatest.
yes, correct. You can do it that way also. Take the highest power. So in you have x by x. So answer is 1. Otherwise, you could have differentiated it also. What is the derivative of x plus 2? Vignesh, what is the derivative of x plus 2?
Sir, 1.
1. What about x plus 1?
1, sir.
Correct. So I get my answer 1. So basically my
Right.
f of x is tending to 1. So which form is this?
Which, sir?
Which
1
form is this?
raised to infinity.
F of x raised to g of x is which form?
1 raised to infinity, sir.
Correct. It is 1 raised to infinity. How do we solve 1 raised to infinity? What do? We take e into
Raised to
f of x minus 1 into g of x.
G of
Into
x.
of x.
This is what we do. So e raised to f of x minus 1. So what is f of x minus 1? X plus 2 divided by x plus 1 minus 1 whole into g of x. What is g of x? What is g of x?
To infinity. X,
Arey,
x
what is g of x?
plus 3.
Correct. Plus 3. So x plus 2 divided by x plus 1 minus 1. X plus 2 divided by x plus 1 minus 1 whole into x plus 3. So obviously I will be taking out the bracket. So x minus x plus 1 whole divided by x plus 1 into x plus 3. Right? So what is x plus 2 minus x plus 1? What is it?
1 by x plus 1.
1 by x plus 1, correct. Into x plus 3. Which form is this? Limit x is tending to infinity. Which form is this?
Sir, infinity by infinity form.
Correct, absolutely. You can just write it as x plus 3 divided by x plus 1, right? Limit x is tending to infinity. So what is the value of this limit?
sir.
Value of this limit?
Sir, 1.
1. Correct.
Infinity by
So,
infinity. What?
1.
yes, correct. No, infinity by infinity is not 1. Infinity divided by infinity is not 1. It is an indeterminate form. You need to calculate. There is like I think you have not attended my classes before. So infinity divided by infinity is not 1. Okay, it is an indeterminate form. It is not defined actually. Okay. So what is my final answer? Is 1 my final answer?
No, sir. No, sir.
E raised to 1, right?
Raised to 1.
There was an
raised
E
to
also.
1.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
correct. Sorry, x extends to. Okay, correct. So E is my final answer. Okay. Let us just look at a few more. So you have limit x tends to 0. This one is really special. Sin x divided by x raised to sin x divided by x minus sin x. Oh, nice. So obviously you have f of x raised to g of x. So your f of x is sin x by x, and your g of x is sin x divided by x minus sin x, right? So your
Yes.
limit x is tending to 0. So where will your f of x tend to?
1, sir.
1.
1.
Okay, 1. Correct. And like without solving only, I can tell you my g of x will tend to infinity. But okay, if you wish to do, we can do it. But I am telling you beforehand, it will tend to infinity only. Why do you think it will tend to infinity? Like if you can think, like before telling you, I can say that it will tend to infinity. Why? Because 1 raised to infinity is the only indeterminate form, na? Do we have any other indeterminate form that has 1 in the base and anything else in the denominator? No, right? 1 raised to infinity is the only indeterminate form. So obviously, right? Like you can check all the indeterminate forms. We have 0 raised to 0 or 0 raised to infinity or infinity raised to 0. But if 1 is in the base, the exponent only has to be infinity. If the power is not infinity, it is some constant. So like the value is directly 1. So obviously they won't give a question that is very easy. So before telling only, I could have told that the value is going to infinity. But still, if you wish, we can look at it. So limit x tends to 0, sin x by x minus sin x. Which form is this?
0 by 0.
to infinity.
0 by 0. Great, great. No, it is 0 by 0. Right? Sine x, sine of 0, 0. And x is also 0. So how do we solve it? How should we solve this thing? Like, see, there is not one method. There are many. You can just tell any if you wish to. Vignesh, 0 by 0. How do we solve it?
Derivate.
Oh,
Derivate.
yes, correct. You can use
Derivate.
l'Hopital too. Yes, yes. What is the differentiation of sin x?
Cos
Cos.
x, sir. Cos x.
What about x minus sin x?
1
One.
minus
Minus.
Cos
minus.
Minus 1.
Right? 1 minus
Yeah.
cos x.
Yes,
Now
sir.
just check which form is this currently. In the top it was 0 by 0 form. Which form is this now? What is cos of 0?
1, sir.
1. So you are left with 1 divided by
By
1
0.
minus 1. So 1 by 0. What is 1 by 0?
Infinity.
Sir.
Infinity.
1.
1 by 0 is 1.
Infinity, sir.
Infinity.
Correct. It is infinity. So we have, which form do we get over here?
1 raised to
Which
infinity.
form? Right. So see, many a times you will need to, like, in order to calculate which form is this, you will need to do evaluations there also. So like the question gets really long. First of all, you will need to calculate f of x. Then you will need to calculate g of x. Then you will get which form is this. And then you can do with the final limit. So we have got 1 raised to infinity. How should we solve it? E raised to f of x minus 1 into g of x, right? This is how you solve 1 raised to infinity.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so go ahead. So e raised to f of x minus 1. What is f of, okay, so sin x by x minus 1. Sin x divided by x minus 1 into x by sin x into sin x by x minus sin x by x minus sin x. Okay, this is it. That's it we have. So
Yes.
let us look at it. Let us just look at this part. So you have sin x divided by, so it can be written as sin x minus x whole divided by x into sin x by x minus sin x. So this sin x divided by sin x minus x and x minus sin x, can it be cancelled out?
Sir. Sir.
It can't be cancelled out. Hmm.
Yes, sir. Can be cancelled out.
It can be cancelled out, right?
Yes, sir.
It is allowed to cancel. So if they are cancelled out, like minus 1 will come out, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
minus 1 into sin x
Sin x
and
by
x.
By x.
What is sin x by x? X is tending to 0. What is it? 1.
1.
1.
Correct. So minus 1 into
Minus 1.
1.
1.
minus 1.
So answer is minus 1.
Minus 1.
So is minus 1 my final answer?
No, sir. E raised to.
No,
What is it?
E raised
E
to
raised to minus 1.
minus 1.
Right? Also written as 1 by e.
E.
Okay. Okay. So I guess that's it for today. Any doubts in today's class you can ask, or any doubt in general related to limits or anything related to preparation you can ask. There is no class for Kevin, like Kevin sir is not taking class today. So you can ask anything if you wish to. Otherwise, the class is over, you can leave. Ma'am, please enter the class. If you
Yes,
don't
sir.
have any doubts.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
students, you can. Yes, sir. You can join the next class link 8:30. Sorry, 7:30 to 8:30.
I guess Kevin sir had told there is no class today.
Yes, sir. But Arun sir will take the class, sir.
Oh, acha,
Yeah.
bad luck, yaar. Students, sorry, I thought it was a holiday for you. It is not.
No, sir.
Not.